it's Melissa. Happy Friday. I am here with something I have never done on Facebook Live before, and that is sewing and embroidery, specifically embroidery, because we have sewing before, right? Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to take a seat on my stool. We're going to be here a while, so settle in if you're going to stick around for this whole thing. So what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this right now in a second, but what I'm going to show you is how to pair your silhouette designs, your silhouette materials with an embroidery machine. Okay, so this is actually glitter HTV that I have embroidered basically as applique onto this towel. And we are going to do this essentially from start to finish. Now I've given myself a little bit of a head start. That was my sample. I'm giving myself a little bit of a head start because this is like, it takes a little while to sew, okay? So I'm also have to give you a disclaimer. I am a newbie when it comes to the embroidery, so I am learning right along with you. But what is so exciting for me about the embroidery machines, first of all, they're finally back in stock. If you have tried to get a sewing embroidery machine during the pandemic, they have been like home fitness equipment, right? You cannot find them anywhere. So the reason I decided to do this today, which I didn't decide until like 2 hours ago, is because they are finally, the SE600, which is what I have, is finally back in stock. This is a great starter machine. So if you're interested, grab it. Now we'll talk a little bit more as we get going. Like I said, there's a lot of like, do and wait, sit and wait. Okay, so we're gonna, as this starts going, then we'll talk a little bit more about all the different ways you can use embroidery with your silhouette machine and different things like that. So I told you that I got a little bit of a head start, and I'm gonna show you that here. So we are going to do the same design that I already did. So what I have here on my embroidery machine is what, now again, all of you guys who have come from the embroidery and sewing side are going to say, like, probably cringe at my vocabulary on this. But this is what I think is called the placement stitch, okay? So in an embroidery design, which you can bring into Silhouette Studio, if you are going to cut this on fabric instead of HTV, which is an option. I'm just showing it to you this way as an option because it's a good starter. You don't have, but we'll get into all of that. So what this does is it tells you where you need to place your applique. Okay, so in this case, we need to place our green down here and the gold up here. Now I've also cheated because I am doing all of the stitching in red, and I've done that specifically so that I don't have to complicate things even more with you by changing out the thread, okay? All right, so it tells you over here on the side what is going to stitch next. When I tell you this is a beginner machine, literally this is a awesome beginner machine because I already have some tutorials up for you, but it's very much like, I don't know if intuitive is the right word, but it's about as intuitive as it can be for the complicated stuff that this thing can do. So you do your placement stitch first, okay? Did you guys know that in embroidery you don't have to step on the pedal? I had no idea. I literally, while this was going, went and tried to fix my hair, and you saw how that went. So once you have the placement stitch, that was the part that I cheated and did ahead of time. Now we're actually going to take the hoop off, and I'm going to put my HTV down, and you're going to see why in a second. So don't worry, when you take this off of here, it'll still line back up exactly where it should when you put it back down. So I'm going to move, what we're going to do now, have this here, and I'm going to put HTV on here. So what you don't want to do is press your HTV because you only want certain pieces of it, right? We only want this top part or the bottom part. We don't want this whole thing. So what you're going to do, and I'm just going to cut this down a little bit because it doesn't need to be this large. You are going to take the heat transfer vinyl, this is just glitter gold, off of the carrier sheet, okay? Because you don't want the carrier sheet on there. All right. And it's going to actually tell us that my machine is telling me that the next thing that is going to stitch is actually the tack down. I think that's what it's called. Again, I don't know the technical terms. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. The tack down stitch for the green. So I actually am going to put the green down first. Okay, and you'll see how we do that. So again, I'm just taking the heat transfer material itself off of the clear carrier backing. Okay, and I'm going to place this on here. right over here. So first I'm gonna just trim off these little threads, okay? Every time you take it out, just, again, this is just me doing this, just, you can clean it up a little bit, okay? All right, now, you can put this down. Again, don't be tempted to press it with a heat because you're gonna get a square on there, right? But what you can do is use a little bit of fabric adhesive, which I'm going to spray on the very edges to try to just keep this in place while it starts stitching. You just want a very small amount and try to keep it all the way where like your needle is not gonna go, okay? I know some of you who have a much more experience than me are probably gonna be telling me I'm doing this all wrong or there's different ways to do this, and I am 100% confident you are correct. However, I am, again, also learning as we go. Okay, so we're gonna put this hoop back on here, okay? And it's all in there, and I'm going to, you wanna make sure your fabric's out of the way and everything, and I'm gonna put my needle back down. Now, it's telling me over here, again, and I'll get into this once this starts going, but it's telling me that the stocking is going to start stitching, and that's what I want. So I'm going to just press this green button, and it's going to start stitching that. Now, once the green has stitched out, this is basically putting, oh no, it's not working right. I have to rethread, I think. Let's see. You guys, I literally spent like an hour doing this ahead of time, so I didn't have a problem. It looks like I need to, it's probably because I put a new bobbin in there. Okay, well, we'll see, okay? This is now holding down or tacking down our HTV, okay? Oh my gosh, I think my bobbin is all messed up. I'm gonna see if once this comes out, we can just swap the bobbin out again. I switched it because I thought it was getting low, but it looks like it's creating a problem. So again, you know me, I'll try to fix it. All right, so here's how this goes. This is a design that I got off of Fontsy. It's an embroidery and applique design, but because it has these layer of stitches, the placement stitch, the tack down stitch, that zigzaggy stitch, and then the actual satin stitch, you can separate them and use the placement stitch and the tack down as a cut file. So if you wanted to cut this on fabric with your silhouette machine first, instead of using HTV, you could do that, okay? All right, oh my gosh. I'm super nervous about this because it's very, involved is not the right word, but there's a lot of steps and there's a lot of obviously moving parts. Okay, so once you have this on here, you're literally going to tear it away. And can you see what I'm doing here? This stitching is going to hold it down. Okay, so I'm tearing away outside of the stitching. Okay, now remember, the HTV is not on my fabric right now. It's not tacked down. It's not, the adhesive is not on my fabric right now, but we're gonna do that next. All right, so you just have to rip it right along the edge. Okay, again, be really careful. Okay. Okay, so see what I'm doing here? I'm actually very scared to read the comments when this is over because I know all you professional sewers are gonna tell me I'm doing this totally wrong. But I want you guys to see how it can be done. And I'm not afraid to show you that when it comes to this, I also am a beginner. Okay, so now I just need to get that little piece out of there. All right, now you can see it's buckling a little bit. So this is where we now place this piece back on top. This is the carrier sheet. I'm gonna place this back on top and I'm just gonna press with my iron to tack that down, okay? So I'm gonna have my iron set up right here. And actually, do not take it out of the hoop. It literally doesn't need to be 100%. You just wanna do it so that it's not moving, Okay, and then the other thing is I've used my CRICUT Easy, the mini easy press, and it's much, much easier with that. Okay, so once that's somewhat down, and maybe I should just turn my easy press on, it would be probably better. I think I'll do that. It takes just a second. Oh, goodness. Oh, gosh, I'm so nervous. Oh, no. Eek! Okay, hold on. Where's my easy press? Easy press to the rescue. Okay, hold on. Okay, we got this. Oh my gosh, I'm really nervous, you guys. I literally could spend so much time prepping this, and then when I do it live, it's like I always 1,000% have some kind of an issue. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do keep that down. Stay calm, Melissa. Oh God. And of course, there's more of you than normal watching. I don't like that. Okay. As I was saying, oh my God. Ooh, did you guys watch Mandy's live the other day? She had the same type of issues. I had text her. I was like, girl, I'm so glad it's not just me. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's get this. Okay. We got this. Shh. All right. Now. Nope. Come on. Come on, HTV. Work with me. You guys like to just see us struggle. I swear that's what it is. But I got this. I got this. Oh my God. Maybe I don't got this. Okay. All right. Happy Friday. This is so 2020. This is such a 2020 project. I swear to you. This is why I do it live though, so you guys can see you are not alone. All right. This might just be a cold peel. I think that's the problem. Let's wait for this to be a cold peel. Okay, now, as I was saying, the next thing that we're going to do is showing me up here that I need to put my gold down. So we're going to put the gold down in a second. And I'm actually going to, let me just see what's going on with this bobbin. Yeah, okay, we'll put the other bobbin in. Where did it go? I'm really nervous. Did I mention? Have I mentioned? Where did the other bobbin? Oh, here. Okay. When you're doing the bobbin, again, and I'm cheating. I'm using a white bobbin thread. Oh no. What is going on? Oh my gosh. Oh no, you guys. Okay, this might just not work. This might just be like a fail. But I'm really going to try. I'm really going to try. Okay. I'm going to try to get this to work. I told you my hands are shaking. Is it Saturday yet? Okay, I'm going to trim that. I'm going to trim this. Is this. Please tell me this worked. Okay, at least that's down. Okay, moving on. Oh my God. Okay, so now I'm going to put my gold piece down. As I said, everything's dandy. I'm actually going to flip it this way. Okay, you're going to make sure, this is why these placement stitches are important. You need to make sure that your material, or in this case, my HTV, is covering those stitches because it's telling me where it is going to stitch. Okay. Okay, everything's fine. Okay, now it's telling me it's going to do it up here, so let's just tell it go. Oh gosh. Oh no, now the bottom. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Oh my God, you guys. This is not my day. Now I have to re-thread this thing. Okay, I don't know. This is not working out. What? Seriously, why can I do this when you're not here, but then you get here and I get all like nervous? Oh my gosh, okay. Now I have to show you how to thread the bobbin. You put it through here, you put it around, you just follow the numbers. Oh my gosh. 4, where is this? I never claimed that I actually knew what I was doing. Okay, now we do this, and that's the one thing that works. Okay, it threads. Oh gosh. Let's just, everyone be calm. I'm really just talking to myself when I say everybody be calm, because I'm the only one that's probably not calm. Okay, oh God. Okay. We got this. You guys, are you praying for me? Okay, we're gonna do this. Please work. Okay. Is it gonna work? Please work. Woo, it's stitching. It's stitching. Okay, it's stitching. Oh my God, you guys. I did not claim. I never. No, we are all human, but we are all beginners at one time. And I want you guys to know this is what I looked like when I started with my silhouette machine. So there's hope. There is hope. Okay. All right. So here we go. So now it is doing the same thing. It is doing the same thing with, it's now tacking down the gold HTV, okay? And so I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to rip it away when it's done. And then it will go back and do another round, and then it will do the satin stitch. Okay, now if you wanted to use this with your silhouette, what would you do? If you wanted to use fabric instead of, okay, so now, see, it's done. So we can take this out again and move on to the next step. This is where it starts to come together, and I start to breathe a little bit, I think. Okay, so I'm going to tear this one away too. Around. Now, most people who are sewing are not using HTV. Most people who are sewing are using fabric. The fabric can be cut in your silhouette machine with either your rotary blade, if you're using, can you see? If you're using a Cameo 4 machine, or if you're not using a Cameo 4 machine, you can cut with a ratchet or auto blade, a really sharp one. There's a couple different methods to doing it, Material Magic or some kind of a backing. But hands down, the easiest way to cut fabric with silhouette is the rotary blade. However, the rotary blade is only available for the Cameo 4. It has to be used in the second carriage. And you would be able to cut the fabric with your silhouette, and then again, because of the way that the placement stitching and all that, and because you can line up, and because you can import embroidery designs, this is, for example, this one, you could import the PES file, you can then, it can combine the two. Now, the one thing that you do need to be aware of is you cannot change the sizing of the design once you bring it into silhouette. And if you're wondering how to do that, I have tutorials on that on the blog. Okay. All right. Now this is going to clean up, and I swear to you, it is going to make me look like a Superwoman, but maybe not. Okay. Maybe I'm going a little too far with that, given how the last 10 minutes have just gone down. All right. Now we're going to place this thing back on top. I'm going to use the Easy Press again. Don't iron right on it, because you'll mess up your HTV. Okay, so this is, obviously we figured out that's cold peel. All right, now I need to advance to the next, I need to figure out like what is going on next. So I am actually going to advance this, and so that I can get the, let's see, actually, if we go back a couple, you can change the order. That is the placement. Okay, so we don't want that one. We have already done that. We've already done that. Okay, so now we're ready to do this. Okay, all right. And this is where it all starts to come together and look like a really nice piece. Okay, put that down, and then we're just gonna do this, okay? And now it's telling me it's doing the red. It's gonna do around the stocking piece, okay? So first it does like this zigzag, and then it goes back, and it does the placement, the satin stitch, okay? All right, now, I'm gonna try, while this is doing this, I'm gonna try to explain to you just verbally how to do this with embroidery, and I'm also, with the silhouette and fabric, and I'm just gonna show you a couple of things. This was my first ever embroidery. Literally I just embroidered. You just start, I'm literally just, the reason I'm showing you this is because just like I suggest to you with silhouette, start with something that is beginner level. If you start with something that is way beyond, like for example, with this, if I had done this, there's a reason I'm only using red thread. I don't want to have to rethread this whole thing. There's a reason that I'm only using 2 different colors of HTV. I don't want, and made this rather simple design, okay? I'm still a beginner as well. So, the steps that you would take for this: find your design, put it on a USB. It opens up on the sewing machine, okay? It tells you the order of what it's going to stitch. So we stitched the placement stitch for both the top of the boots and the boots themselves. Then we placed 1 piece of HTV and did the tack down stitch. That keeps it in place. Tore it away, pressed it just so the HTV would stick to the fabric. Repeated that with the gold. Now we are on the last part where we are going back and we are doing the satin stitch, and this brings it all together. Now, if you were doing this with fabric, what would you do? Same design, goes into Silhouette Studio, and I can maybe show you. Let me see if I can show you on my computer while this is going. Because I actually had this originally, was like, oh, I'll do this with fabric, and then I thought, you know what, this is going to be complicated enough that I decided not to do that. But I can show you that in Silhouette Studio, can you see this? Let me bold the lines a little bit. Okay, so here's the same thing in Silhouette Studio. So these pieces you could cut on fabric. Now, if you're gonna do this on fabric like this, I would offset. The reason that you want to offset, actually you want to internal set, and the reason that you want to do that is so, you want to offset a little bit. The reason that you want to offset, and I have blog posts written on this, is so that your tack down stitch and your satin stitch catch the fabric, okay? So let's say you cut these all on fabric, then you have these. Instead of putting the HTV down where we did, you would do the placement stitch. The placement stitch would show you, where do I put my 2 pieces of fabric? You would place those down. You would do the placement stitch. That would hold it in place, and then you would proceed. So again, I'm doing it with HTV as an alternative because I also know that most of you probably have HTV at home, but this is something that you can do. You can combine this in so many different ways with your Silhouette machine. Now, you need Designer Edition Plus in order to bring embroidery and applique designs into Silhouette Studio, but once they are in there, you want to, there's, like I said, usually 4 layers, and you want to use the, you can use the placement or tack down stitch as the cut line, okay? All right. Okay, I felt for a minute there like things were going off the rails. But we turned it around, and that's one thing that I want to like really encourage you guys to do, that if it doesn't work out the first time, literally we all started from the beginning. Do not put your Silhouette machine back in the box. I hear that time and time again. It didn't work, I didn't like it. Half the time it's, no, not half the time, 90% of the time it is user error, just like you saw here, user error on my end, but you can turn it around, and those mistakes are how we learn, and that's how I learned to do all of this. There's, like I said, there's probably, I don't know, half dozen right now blog posts on Silhouette School for how to use embroidery machines and different things like that with Silhouette. Now that we have the Cameo 4 Pro, you can really cut big pieces of fabric. However, you cannot, again, you cannot change the size of your embroidery and applique designs because they won't fit in the hoop. This machine, very beginner level, comes with the 4x4 hoop. There's a larger one, and the reason I'm showing you this and the reason I have this is because it's very affordable for a beginner. This is $3.99. You can get, I have sticky stuff all over my hands, that's why I'm doing this. You can get a bundle. There's 2 different bundles available that give you obviously more things, right, like tools and stuff to go with this right out of the box. I linked to those as well. This is coming out really nice. I want you guys to see how that's coming out, okay? Now, if you're gonna ask me how to hoop, I can tell you how to hoop. If you're gonna ask me how to position the hoop and make sure it's right, that part I'm still trying to figure out myself. So we actually have a couple of blog posts on Fontsy that will show you that, and they're not silhouette specific, but they do work with the Brother embroidery machines. Okay, so now what you can see on my machine is it's telling me I've done the satin stitch on here. We now are going to do the last bit of satin stitch on the top of these and on the ball. And what it's telling me is that I need to change the thread. The reason it stopped is because in the original pattern, this thread was one color and mine was a different. But I'm just using red for all of it to make it very, very simple for myself. So now I'm just ready. I can carry on. And this is the last piece. So once this is done, once this part is done, we will end up with our design like this. Okay. And again, this is just something that I think a lot of people really like embroidery because it gives a really beautiful finished, you know, feel, but it's something that you can for sure combine with silhouette. You know, I could add, I could cut, you know, a name and put that above here. I could cut in HTV and put that above here or something like that. And that's really important. If you only have a 4x4 hoop like I do, where I'm limited on the size of the design that I can make, or I can't edit this design, then I can go back afterwards, cut a piece of HTV that will, you know, match in size and color and whatever else, and place that above. So keep in mind that there are lots of ways. When I say that your silhouette machine and your sewing machine can pair together, they don't physically pair together. It's not like you're sending your design from Silhouette Studio directly to here. The embroidery machines are very good in the fact that you just put a design directly on a USB thumb drive and it shows up on your the screen there. Okay, you can pick it, the sizing and everything. One thing that you want to keep in mind is the orientation of the design. You can see this design here looks like it's sideways. Well, that's because the bottom of my towel is down here and I want it to, you know, stitch this way. If I hadn't changed it, because originally it was 90 degrees the other way, it would be stitching, you know, the wrong way. So there's a lot of stuff to learn, but it's a really natural fit for the two of them together. A lot of people come to the silhouette side from embroidery, but I specifically, I'm going the other way, and I love combining the two. And you can get as simple or as complicated as you want as you learn, obviously. Learning how to use embroidery fonts and creating your own font design, that's a whole different story. There are free applications that you can do that with, both on a Mac and on a PC. I think we have a blog post on that on Fontsy because there's actually more just general embroidery type tutorials over there. If you guys are interested in that, I'll link to those as well. So I will try to answer. I'm going to see if I can go through some of these questions while this finishes. How do you size the design? So you don't want to size the design. So let's say you get the SE, I think it's the 1900, which has a 5x7. When you buy an embroidery and applique design, it will come with a whole bunch of different sizes. It will come with the same design. It will come for a 4x4, for a 5x7, for an 8x10, and I think there's even a larger one than that. So you do not size the design yourself. You are going to take the design. And where's my computer? I can just show you real quick when I downloaded this design what it came with, so you can kind of see, and then you're going to pick the one that works for, you know, the hoop size that you have. So let's see. So this is the one file that I am using. It comes in 4x4, and then it comes with a whole bunch of different file types. ART, DST, EXP, HUS, JEF, PES. It all depends on the software that you're using. Then it comes in 5x5, same file types. 5x7, repeating the file types. 6x10, same thing. 8x8. And so, and also like it comes, it shows you everything that you need to know, and it all, they all come together. So this one actually had a set of 4 different little boots. I think there was like a Santa boots, Mrs. Claus boots, a couple different slippers or different things. But I specifically picked this one because it's beginner level. Okay. This is almost finished. Once it's finished, I'll pull it out and show you. But I love, one thing that I really do like is that unlike the silhouette where I'm like, I have to stand right there, this I can kind of be, you know, just in the area. Hi Penny. I know Penny is like a big embroidery and sewing, so she's probably gonna, don't watch back, you'll be mortified at me. But I am happy to say that we turned this around, even with all those mistakes that we had in that. I was getting a little nervous. So anyway, okay, let me see if I can answer some of you guys' questions here. They slightly resize. Yes, you can slightly resize in the software to make it a little bit bigger within the hoop area. However, you do want to be super careful about doing that, specifically if you cut fabric with your silhouette, because the size needs to stay the same, uniform all the way through the process. If you are just doing like I did here with HTV, where the silhouette is not involved at all and you didn't cut any fabric and everything is happening on the sewing machine, then it's okay if you resize it a little bit in the software. Because maybe you don't want 4x4, maybe you need it a little bit smaller. You can do that. I'm trying to see if I don't have anything else but right here that I've done, but there's a couple of other things. One thing that I really like doing, and the blog post that I have on the Tearaway HTV, if you use patterned HTV, it comes out really well. So you can see I actually had this as an option that I was going to use for this project. The reason that I didn't, I just thought it kind of clashed a little bit too much with the edge here. Okay, and I wanted the red to kind of be another color in the finished design. Okay, so this is, it has one more piece to do. It's doing that, the little ball on the end, and then it will be all done. We can pull this out of here, and we can get rid of all these little strings, and we will be all finished with this one. So, like I said, I was going to go back and answer some of your questions. When you buy applique files, they come pre-sized? Yes. Let's see. Can you upload a design on the sewing machine like a logo or something? If it's already in, I think there are ways that you can digitize. If you have like a SVG or something, there are programs that will digitize. Silhouette Studio does not do that. Okay, so don't feel like you can take your silhouette designs and make them for embroidery or applique. You cannot do that. But there are, I mean, just a design. Okay, so we're all done here, all right? So it's telling me now I'm completely finished, okay? And I'm gonna lift this out, and then you just snap this off of here and pull it out. And here's what we have for our little towel. Now let's cut the strings, okay? You guys have no idea. You're my most loyal watchers. If you stayed with me through all of that nonsense at the beginning, I owe you. I owe you. Okay, now we're just gonna unhoop this. So here, I'm just gonna pull this. So on the backing, I used a bit of a, some kind of a stabilizer. I forget what this stuff's even called. Somebody remind me what this stuff that you put on the back is called. It's just a stabilizer, right? Yeah. Okay, there's a couple of different kinds. If you're gonna ask me, how do you know which kind? I'm not the person to ask. You can also sew embroider without the hoop. It's like float. I forget what it's. No, you have to use a hoop, but you float something. I don't know. That's another method. All right, now I'm just going to tear this away. This is just the backing part. It just helps to make it so that the towel didn't bunch up while I was doing my sewing. Okay. And so now I already pressed the HTV, but I can go back and press it one more time if I want, but I have now made this adorable little towel. So can you see, I want to show you real close, okay? I still have a couple of little threads I need to clean up there, but you see how that came out? Yeah, it came out really nicely. And again, this design, you could use you can use the tack down or the placement stitch, which are both solid stitch lines. When they come into Silhouette Studio with PES, as the PES, when you bring that in with Designer Edition Plus, you can use that to cut the design as well if you were using it for fabric. I did not cut the HTV in this shape. I just, as you saw, put together a whole piece and then tore it away, and that's how it came out. Okay, so now we have a little set of designs. Now, I am going to breathe. I can finally breathe. I'm so happy that this worked out, because that was not going too well. Sheesh, my kids would be like, Mom, seriously. But like I tell them, just keep trying, you'll be fine, okay? All right, you guys, I will try to go through and answer any questions that you have. I know Ashley typically tries to go through, but she doesn't really, well, no, her mom is a big embroiderer and sewer, so maybe she can help me more than I thought, now that I think about it. All right, you guys, have a fabulous weekend. I will hopefully see you on Monday or Tuesday of next week. Quick, just programming note, if you will. If you are considering getting an SE600 or another embroidery machine, these things have been impossible to find during the pandemic. I will tell you, the supply chain and the production, manufacturing, shipping, everything is putting everything out of stock, back ordered. That's why you see so much stuff out of stock. If you want this, I would grab it now. Wrap it for yourself if you want to put it under the Christmas tree, but these are not going to last long. Swing has them in stock right now, but I talked to Will this morning. He said they only have I think it was like 200, less than 200. So they will go quickly, as they have been selling out very fast. And that is not just for sewing machines. And you're going to hear me say this over and over and over again between now and the holiday. If you see something, get it, because stuff is so out of stock. The Cameo Plus, I mean, the stock is so low right now that it's going to be really difficult to find. Don't expect to see sales. Do not expect to see sales on those high ticket items that have been out of stock or are brand new, because I wouldn't wait, is basically what I'm telling you. Okay? And that goes for sawgrass machines, that goes for sewing machines, that goes for printers, that goes for heat presses. I mean, across the board, that's how it's going to be this holiday, unfortunately. So trying to give you guys as much info as I can, trying to tell you when the stuff's in stock. If you want to follow Silhouette Cameo Deals group, do that, because I post those as soon as I see them, and I don't always get to share them back over to Silhouette School. All right, you guys, have a fabulous weekend. I will see you soon.